Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today's video is a request video from a friend. I had this conceptual model. I'm at my Instagram right now. I had this conceptual model that I made a while ago just to illustrate kind of the tendencies of consciousness, sentient consciousness. You hear a lot about consciousness from the Vedas and lots of other ancient cultures, like the Zen Buddhists and stuff like this around the world. So I just created this simple diagram. This is a hyperboloid. You find this shape quite often throughout nature, and it kind of works with how conscious awareness functions, similar to this. That's why I use this model. So we have various thought forms here illustrated. This is probably a really approachable one. Right here we start with economy, we go to politics, religion, gender, ethnicity, nationality, family. And as we're moving towards ultimate awareness here in the center of the diagram, quite often people will get stuck at these portions of the vortex of awareness. And because of how consciousness works, they can be stuck there their entire lives and never really learn or discover anything more about themselves or each other. For instance, you hear a lot about conspiracy theories on the TV and in the news. And so there's all these, strange things that happen, and there's all these very controversial opinions with how this works throughout history. For instance, the assassination of Kennedy. There have been people who have been researching JFK's assassination for 50 years or however long it's been, and they're really no closer than they were when they started. So essentially they kind of overlooked so many other possibilities about being alive and having consciousness, and they functioned and focused on just the Kennedy assassination. Some people, aliens, it's their aliens, or Roswell, or 9/11, any conspiracy really, or any thought form, as we can see here. Socialist, communist, capitalist. Okay, I'm communist, I hate capitalists. No, I'm capitalist, I hate communists. This is a similar type of getting trapped in the vortex, where there's so many other places to go having consciousness, ultimate awareness, the true nature of who we are and how we are with each other. So try not to get stuck in any one of these, because they're important in a sense. Economics is important, politics, like religion, do have things to offer, gender, identity, ethnicity, nationality. They're all important in a sense, but we don't want to overly identify or overly indulge in them with our consciousness, because then we'll get stuck there, and then all of a sudden, I'm only defined by my gender, or I'm only defined by what political party I am. And when we do that, we kind of constrict or lessen the ability of our consciousness to expand, because we're using all of these types of ideas that humans have done for a really long time. But with this diagram, we no longer have to be bound to these ideas, and we can see them for exactly as they are. These are all, communist, socialism, capitalism, money. This is all a form of society, a top-down type of hegemony. And then gender, politics, economy, ethnicity, this is all having to do with identity. So all of these things pretty much represent a part of ourselves, but they can only become truly integrated when we recognize the fact that they're all relevant in some way, but not necessarily the way that we think, or that it's presented to us on the television. And consciousness is a really tricky thing. There are a lot of people who spend their entire lives in government, or spend their entire lives as an economist, or a priest, or whatever. You can pick anything, it doesn't matter. These are all thought forms, and they're all the same essentially because of how consciousness works. So if you have a person who's being stuck for their whole life, and then you have what's super common, like a midlife crisis, and then they go like a 180 direction totally, or they go in some crazy direction you would have never thought they would have gone to, right? Because their consciousness has been stuck in these little ruts for so long, and they don't like it anymore, because humans are all about adaptation and experience and freedom ultimately. And so you see a lot of these psychologies in our people where they have the midlife crisis, or they have some epiphany and they throw it all away. They have a really good job, and suddenly it doesn't matter to them. They've found they want to be a woodworker or something like that. This is like a really common theme that you see in humans, and it all has to do with this type of awareness, discovering the ultimate awareness of yourself and the people around you, doing it together. And we do it naturally, but there's all these little ruts where a lot of people get stuck in, and they never get to the finish line. See ya.